Oh, here we go. Yeah. Yes, guys, welcome back to. It's another podcast. It's another me and Reece. Um, and it's the start of something new. We are doing. I don't know what's going on with my phone, but we'll carry on. Legends. So once every couple of weeks, we're going to start in America and hit all the states in America. My dog wants to be a pain in the ass, as per usual.
Yeah.
There he is. Happy boy. Each week we're going to pick two states, tell an urban legend. We're going to rate them on believability and scareability. This week I have gone for two, obviously two. And my first one's Staten Island, New York. So, and then we'll do the story. Before we get into that, Reece, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, it's all going good. Cannot complain. And it's getting warmer. The sun's out a bit more. Although it's not out today. It's not been out today, but generally speaking, the sun's out more, and it's winter's coming to an end, and it just cheers you up, doesn't it? So I cannot complain at the moment. How about you?
Living the dream. Yeah, what else can I say? Not going back till mid May for work. Pubs are opening again in about 3 weeks. Tottenham are losing games on the daily. Life's good.
Yeah, I didn't even mention Spurs. Yeah. No, I think people are more excited for my birthday than I am, because my birthday's on April 12th, which is when pub gardens are opening. So I think people are more excited for my birthday than I am, especially since I'll be turning 23, and that makes me feel really old. And I know you're already 23. So
I'm 23. Yeah, so you ready, Reece?
I'm born ready. Let's have them. So you're coming through with the ones in this episode. The next episode, I'll be coming to you with two legends, and then.
Well, we are two legends. So I'll start off with. So the two that I picked are Cropsey, and the other one is Annabelle. For start off with a big one, a big couple of ones. Cropsey is a very dark one because there's also the urban legend side, then there's actually a true crime side to it. So that's why I thought it'd be actually really good. So Cropsey. So I'll just start, and after we've done this, like after we've done Cropsey, we'll rate it, and then we'll go on to Annabelle, and then we'll rate that one. So Cropsey, here's the story. Growing up in New York, you would have heard of the escaped mental patient Cropsey from Willowbrook Mental Institution, who at night would snatch kids off the streets. According to law, an insane man with a hook for a hand would terrorize neighborhood boys and girls, grabbing them and dragging them into the ruins of Staten Island, crumbling Seaview Hospital. Cropsey is a shadowy figure who lurks at the edge of your block and prowls the edge of the playground. He is Staten Island's personal boogeyman. He's always out there waiting to get children. Parents would tell their children this to get them to go to bed, or Cropsey would get them. That's the story, the base story of Cropsey. Pretty sort of like boogeyman, a little bit scary, not too scary. But this is where it gets a bit real. In the 1970s, a real man called Andre Rand got quite a bit of notoriety after he was allegedly started attacking children. Andre was born Frank Russian, which I don't know what that means, but that's what it said. 2 podcasts I listened to for research. I don't know. I have no idea what that means still. And worked at Willowbrook State School as a janitor for mentally disabled children, not far from the Seaview Hospital. Willowbrook was open for 40 years, but it started to become under fire for mistreatment of students. The first kid, my fucking writing is appalling. First kid to go missing was a 5-year-old called Alice Pereira, who vanished in 1972, whose brother left her alone in a lobby while playing. Reports suggest Alice was last spotted in a park with Andre, and he was the prime suspect in the case due to his previous record. Alice was never seen again. The second child was a 7-year-old called Holly Ann Hughes. Andre, she was reportedly spotted with Andre the day that she vanished in 1981. The third was Tia Hayes Jackson, who vanished not long after Andre was released from prison in 1983. The fourth was Hank. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that last name. Gaffarano. Big Hank. A 22-year-old who had a low IQ was last spotted in a cafe with Andre in 80. The body's never found. And then on to the final kid, Jennifer. Gonna go with Jennifer. Yeah, again, last name. I can't read my own fucking writing at this point because look, Jennifer in the summer of 87. Jennifer was a 12-year-old girl with Down syndrome. Jennifer told her parents she was going for a short walk but never returned. A massive search party began looking for her. Andre at this point was homeless after coming out of prison and would often stay in many different places, but the main one was a campsite not far from Willow State Hospital, his old stomping ground. A firefighter found a small foot not far from the school, which led them to Jennifer's body, which was buried in a shallow grave. And Andre's camp was found not too far from where the body was buried. He was arrested and charged with the murder. In court, it was a very open and shut case, with Andre's record back in 1969, where he was arrested for trying to rape a young girl, and in 83, he was arrested and served 10 months for when he was working as a school bus company, when he kidnapped 11 kids, brought them lunch, and took them to New Jersey Airport for no reason. No kids were harmed, but he served 10 months. In 88, he was sentenced to 25 years for the kidnap, but not the murder of Jennifer, as there was not enough sufficient evidence to say that he had murdered her. In 2004, just before his parole meeting, there was another trial brought to Andre. And that where he was convicted of kidnapping the girl in 1981. He was seen pulled up in a car, grabbed Holly, and then she was disappeared and never seen again. He was given an extra 25 years to his current sentence that had 8 years left. He will now serve in prison till 2037. Most of the cases are still unsolved, with most of the kids never being found apart from Jennifer. These kids are now known as the kids that went missing from Cropsey.
Damn. So it could have been this man. Yeah. Where does Cropsey, like that name, where does that come from? Is that just?
It's just, there's not much about the actual story of Cropsey. It's more about this guy. So it could have been around before, could have come after, because what a lot of people would rather say is, instead of there being like a man out to try and find and capture the kids, it might be like this monster. So they've named it Cropsey after this guy, but I don't know when Cropsey came about. It just says that small story of Cropsey, and then it came into this guy's story. But yeah, I went through that really quickly, actually. I didn't think I'd go through it that quickly. But yeah, basically, Cropsey is the story of a mental escaped patient, is what they call him, who would snatch kids with a hook for a hand, terrorising boys and girls who lurked on the edge of your block or on the edges of playgrounds waiting for kids to become astray. And then that's where the legend stops, and then it becomes like a true crime case, which ended up being Andre Rand. Yeah.
So I'm just noticing Hogan in the background, just absolutely going mental.
He's loving life. He loves the story of Cropsey. The
Yeah.
thing that stuck out to me a lot was it's a real person who keeps on getting jobs in and around schools.
Yeah, I
Where
was thinking that.
he was he was arrested for the attempted rape of a young girl, and then in '83, kidnapped 11 children. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, that's what stuck out for me as well. I was thinking that. I was thinking, so he's been a janitor at school, and then he's been a school bus driver as well. Jobs where you can be sort of alone with children. And this is why these days we have our, DBS checks and all that good
Exactly.
stuff.
Me and you both been DBS checked, and we're both safe.
Yeah. That's just the most dumb thing for me. But I think the fact that he's been found guilty of some of these crimes, and there was other children around the same area that we still don't know, and there just was not the evidence, it does also point to this man.
Well, that's the thing, he was never arrested or sentenced for murders because there was no evidence that he actually did the murders. The only evidence was people seeing him with those people before they went missing. So
Yeah,
it could not have been him as well, or very could much have been him, which I think it was.
yeah. Based on
Um,
what you just told me, yeah, I agree.
so obviously that point is probably believability and scariness at a 10. But on the urban legend side of it, I want you to rate it on believability and scareability out of 10.
Okay. Okay, this will probably be the toughest time to do it because this sets the precedent for the rest of this little series. But believable, I'm going to give it a 7 because it does
Yep.
sound sort of believable. And scareability, I'm going to give it a 6 because, think of what was going on around there at the time. Like people may have been afraid to leave their houses and whatnot. But I imagine that we'll have some more scarier ones down the line. So I'm going to give that one a 6 on scareability. Yeah. What do you think of my scores?
Very fair scores. The more we do this, is how we're going to do it is I'm going to take a week, then you're going to take a week, then I'm going to take a week, and blah blah blah. And we're starting in America because we're going to do all 50 or 52 states in America.
Man, I still don't know to this day.
So we're just going to tick them off like we've done Staten Island, done. Next one is Connecticut, I want to say, with Annabelle. I can't remember which one it is because I didn't write down where it's fucking from. And then we're just going to go through, tick them off. And then once we've done them, we're going to move into UK, Europe, China, Asia, whatever. Go all over the place. We can sort of mix it up. But I thought America, because they are
mental.
mental. I thought that'd be a good place to start.
No, I absolutely agree. 100%.
So do you want me to start the second one?
Yeah, let's have it, man. Oh, excuse me. Gosh, I sound like I'm 12 again. Voice cracking and that. Yes, please. Yes, please, bro. Let's go. Proceed.
Proceed in that, fam. Okay. If you are a horror fan of any sort, you'll know of The Conjuring, The Nun, Amityville Horror, and Annabelle. All of these films are linked, and you'll find out how they are linked at the end of this little story. But we are going to talk about one in particular, which is Annabelle. So, in 1970, a student nurse was given a doll by her mother. They began to realize the doll acting strangely. It would often move around from room to room in the house, and they would find paper lying in the house with the words "Help me, help us." At one point, the doll even appeared to be leaking blood. At that point, I'd throw it in the fucking bin. One day, a male friend was staying over and decided to take a nap. When he woke, he found the doll Annabelle staring at him, and he felt like he was being strangled. After he was able to escape this strangulation feeling, he found deep scratch marks on his upper body. and neck. Not knowing what to do, they contacted a medium who at once held a seance. They were told that the doll was inhabited by the spirit of a dead girl named Annabelle Higgins, who had died at the age of 7. They were told that the doll felt a connection with the girl and her roommates and wanted to stay because it loved and wanted to be loved. For some reason, they decided to keep the doll. Yet again, I would have booted it out of the fucking house and tried to accept her. And they that is my writing here is absolutely appalling. They decided to accept her, but they continued. There we go. I've spelled continued wrong, and I'm looking at it going, "That's not how you spell continued, Connor." And they continued to experience demonic behaviour from the doll. This is where two of my favourite people in the world come in. Ed and Lorraine Warren, who is, you'll find out more about them in a second. They wanted to see the doll, and as soon as they saw the doll, they said it was demonically possessed and the spirit does not want to stay within the doll. It actually wanted to attach to a human. The Warrens took the doll, and Ed told his wife to avoid the highways on the way home, as it would be a bumpy and rough ride. He was in fact right. At one point, he had to sprinkle holy water on the doll to calm it down. Annabelle was then moved into a glass container or box and placed in the museum that the Warrens held, where it still is to this day. At one time, a visitor to the museum didn't heed the warnings around the doll and decided to taunt the doll. And when he was asked to leave on his ride home that night, got into a crash and sadly passed away. The Warrens are both dead now. Both Ed died in 2006 and Lorraine died in 2019. There are, I believe, 3 Annabelle films as well. The Warrens have been called. This is where the question around the Warrens comes in. The Warrens have been called out many times for lying about the stuff, as there has been no interview with the young nurse who the Warrens claimed owned the original Annabelle doll. Lorraine admits that the movies are not a real representation of what actually happened, but is happy with how her and her husband Ed came across in them. In all the films linked to the Warrens, no one has ever came out to back the stories that they have told. Every claim of Annabelle was Ed's word and Ed's word only. There's nothing to back up what they've said by anyone, including the interviews they did and the Amityville Horror House. The people that lived in that house have never come out and confirmed that they stayed in that house. Ed and Lorraine Warren have claimed to have done over 10,000 investigations into the supernatural and ghosts, and they've done exorcisms, seances. I've done a bit of maths. 10,000 cases would take one case a day over 27 years. Whether you believe that or not is completely up to you. She continued after Ed's death. Lorraine continued to talk about their stories on their museum tours, which you can still go to today. Multiple people, including university lecturers, have come out and said they are liars and that the whole museum is just a bookshelf of absolute rubbish, knockoff stuff and Halloween costumes, and that the doll of Annabelle is literally just a shop-bought raggedy doll that has nothing to do with the supernatural. This came out after all of this sort of stuff came out after Child's Play, obviously Chucky, and another one where the main character was actually called Annabelle. Only after them was the stories of Annabelle, the Amityville Horror, The Nun, and The Conjuring actually came out.
Oh, right. Oh.
So basically, there's an urban legend I've just completely destroyed for you guys. But yeah, that is the story of Annabelle. Basically, what you see in the film is nothing actually what happened, because what happened was literally they turned up, did a seance, and doll's demonically possessed, took the doll. That was it. Where in the film, they showed there was a murder, they got blood on the doll, and that's how the doll became haunted and then started haunting people. And there's been about three movies on it. So yeah, that is the story of Annabelle as well.
Damn. Yeah. The thing that I thought of again that you sort of said as well was like, why did they just get rid of it? It's like in all those horror movies, these families like, oh, that house looks nice. Oh yeah, no, that house isn't actually for sale. Like, people got killed in that house. Oh no, we'll have it.
Well, there's actually in most states in America, which you'll find out as you do a bit of research into this as well, Reece, there's actually a law where they have to tell you if there's been any deaths or murders in the household, so then money can be knocked off the house.
Okay. Well, that also okay. But still, I don't know. But maybe you'd have the house, but then if you saw like a couple of weird things, you'd probably be like,
I'm about to dip.
I'm out of here. Oh, there's a weird noise in the basement. Oh,
Yeah.
I better go invest.
There's blood dripping on the wall and the word saying "get out." Let me have a cup of tea.
But yeah, I don't know why they didn't just yeet the doll out the window.
Yeah, it's a bit where it's like they discovered that the doll had left deep scratches on upper body and neck. And you're there going,
yeah, I don't want to risk
no.
that again. I'm gonna take that to the charity shop.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that to Oxfam.
Oxfam, here's a doll. Because the original Annabelle doll is nothing what it's actually seen in the films. It's actually just an old Raggedy Ann doll with red hair. That's all it is. But in the horror films, it's made out to be something massive. The reason I picked that one as well is because not many people know the actual story behind it. They see the film and go, "Oh my god!" They didn't know it's an actual real thing.
Yeah.
Because it does say in the film based off real events. It's not. It's based off Ed and Lorraine, who are real. The doll that is real, according to Ed and Lorraine. There's been no interview with the nurse that originally had the doll. Same with the Conjuring story. Same with the Amityville horror. They all link back to Ed and Lorraine. I think they're complete bullshitters, to be honest. Like, I'm someone who's into the paranormal and stuff like that, and I think they're bullshitters.
Well, they must have made a lot of money off their museum.
Oh, mate. Like, it's even to the point now where they got their grandson in to become a ghost investigator, and he's actually taken over and done tours as well at the museum. Do you mind, dog? He didn't like that. So it's just, to me, it's completely mental.
Yeah, I just think it's mad that so many like movies based off of it, based off of what these two people have said, and they've made all this cashola as well off of
10,000 cases. That's one case a day for 27 years, right? First of all, you've got to find where the case is. You've got to get to the case, and it's unlikely that the second case that you're going to is down the road. You've probably got to drive. Like, America's massive. Like, you're not going to be able to get to case real quick. And the fact of she admitted that everything in the films didn't actually happen, but she was just happy with how she was portrayed, kind of tells me that a lot of it's bollocks.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad that I decided to start on these two because we've ripped apart Annabelle, which is probably one of the biggest urban legends out there.
Here we go. Complicated channel. Not very complicated here. You've just ripped it to shreds.
Oh, what's that? You're going with some stuff? Oh, get out. We ain't having today, son. But yeah. Do you want to rate them on believability and scareability?
Yeah, let's do this. So obviously, and this goes for Staten Island one as well, Cropsey. I've just gone off of what you've said, so this is like my pure initial gut reaction, feeling when I go for these. So I think with believability, I'm going to start with this one. Believability, I'm going to give it a 2.
Yep.
Um,
Understandable.
But the only reason I'm not giving it a 1 is because Ed and Lorraine must have convinced quite a few people because they've made so much money off it. So fair play to them for doing that. So
Secure the bag.
So there's 1 mark of it to make it not a 1. Scareability, I'll give it. I'm gonna give it a 7 as well, just like the Cropsey one. I think I was around the 6, 7, 8 mark, and I was to and throwing, so I was thinking 8, and then I thought, nah, it's not, just this doll caused a few problems, but the scratching was a bit scary. And then I was thinking, is it as scary as that man kidnap? And then I thought, well, imagine just waking up and seeing a doll right in front of you. That would scare the shit out of you. So, so I'm going to give it a 7 as well. Yeah.
That's some pretty fair marks, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Very, very diplomatic.
Got to be done, isn't it?
Got to be done. I've really enjoyed these that you brought today. I really enjoyed.
That's the first 2 done. That's the first 2 done, and now it's down to you. So what? This is going out the Sunday. Normally, this is going to be a video that will probably go out on like a Wednesday or Thursday as like an extra one, like what we did with our first ever complicated news, which we did the Meghan Markle and Prince Harry situation. We'll probably go out on a midweek, but this is going to go out on a Sunday as it's like the first one to get you all sort of. So there'll probably be one in like a week's time or 2 weeks' time. Reece is going to do 2 urban legends. And do you want me to pick the states you're going to pick from, or do you want to pick the states you're going to pick from? So I've picked Staten Island and Connecticut.
Okay. Yeah. Why don't I pick the states now?
Yeah.
And then
so then they have to all.
Yeah, and it's got, and it'll have people guessing and stuff. And obviously I haven't done any research yet, so I'm just going to pick 2 states at random that I feel like might have some interesting ones. I'm going to go with Illinois because that's where Chicago is, and Chicago is massive, so there's probably some stuff in Chicago. So Illinois, and then I'm going to go for a really rogue state that nobody thinks of, Maine. See what I can find in Maine as well. So Illinois and Maine.
I don't know which ones are from which state, but I know there's some good ones that will come up in this series. So if you do like this series, stick around, hit that like button, because you're going to hear the stories of the Devil's Chair, Goat Man, the Mini Washatu, the Moulin Rouge, and many, many more. So please subscribe as well, because we are, as we stand, 2 subscribers off of 100, which we fucking massive, because that was the goal for the whole year. But yeah, thanks guys for watching. Thanks Reece for joining me.
Yeah, pleasure as always, my friend.
Peace.